Our next speaker is Professor Zeng Yi, who is the director of the Center for Artificial Intelligence Ethics and Governance at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Additionally, Professor Zeng is the founding director of the Center for Long-Term AI. He is also an active participant in international AI governance as a member of the UN High-Level Advisory Body on AI and numerous other international governance bodies. Professor Zeng, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation. So I'm a scientific researcher myself, so I think I'm gonna focus on some of the frontier research. And I think I wanted to bring I cannot say it's a completely different picture, but what I see about the AI safety problems is that of course, we need to clearly define safety red lines, but we also, for the very future, we need to move it to live in harmony with artificial general intelligence. Before that, maybe you would be curious, how should we do it? Of course, the problem for AI safety, it's not only about scientific research. It's really a system that you have to bring everyone together. So this is why we are bringing everyone together for the research, application, evaluation, policy making, and also assessment from the safety point of view. And of course, very frontier research. So I think this is a little bit different compared to the current AI, the mechanisms of AI Safety Institute in other countries, in a way that when you're having a national AI Safety Institute, some of the countries, they do it in a more political way or policy way, so that it's part of the government. It's not a frontier research organization. And then you lose the opportunity for long-term frontier research. And some of the countries, they put them into universities. Well, in this case, how can this National AI Safety Institute evaluate and assess the industry large language models or most frontier models from their countries? So you all see that there are many problems when you rely on the institute. So this is why that we feel that we have to bring everyone together. So as you can see that in China, we're having the Chinese AI Safety Network that is with the efforts from frontier AI research, spanning from Chinese Academy of Sciences, Peking University, Tsinghua, Beijing Academy of AI, Shanghai AI Lab, and also Center for Long-Term AI. And for the industry practice on AI safety, now the organizations joining us are Alibaba Ant Group, Baidu, SenseTime Real AI, who is focusing on AI safety, and many more. Evaluations, well, the evaluations now, of course, many of them are done in ministries. But the organization who's really supporting these ministries are CICT and also China Information Technology Security Evaluation Center. For policy design, of course, it's all government work. But people like me, Dian Xue, and professors from PKU, also CICT, working on the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, participated. And I think what's really interesting is that the regulation, the policy making in China on AI safety is also with many participation from industries. So you see that many of the organizations, they're not only contributing to one dimension, they're highly relevant to each other. And now you have everyone here. It's government informed and multi-ministry informed. They have close interactions with the government. Well, for the government decisions, they still can go to the government. But the network makes it more flexible for international cooperation. So, so there are many different research here that, let's say in Peking University, they have large language models alignment, which is called LINER. In Tsinghua University, they have multi-trust working on large language model evaluation overall, especially on the security and safety point of view. And we also have frontier research like rethinking the Redlines of AI catastrophic risks, chaired by Chinese Academy of Sciences. For the norms and standards, it goes for CAICT. So it's really a collaborative network that brings everyone together and supported by multi-ministries. So I hope this provides you with a different view to see how we should tackle the problem on AI safety in a more systematic way instead of having the institute. So I hope that the tryings is somewhat helpful. And as you can see, that most of the organizations, they've been interacting, highly involved in policy making, in evaluations in China. So I think that's somewhat different compared to other countries. So based on that, I think myself, I would like to focus more on the frontier AI safety research so that I can bring you a perspective as an example coming out from this safety cooperation network. So I think we need to go back to the real motivation of intelligence, that when Alan Turing argued if a machine behave as intelligent as human being, then it's as intelligent as human beings. Maybe you don't have a problem on that, but I do. Simply because I think now you see, this is maybe a shadow of a hand. And then when you see a hand and then you wanted to shake hands with with this beautiful hand. And then what the problem would be that it's not a hand, it's a rabbit behind the hand. If you wanted to shake hand with with the shallow, and then a rabbit just bite you. So simply because the mechanisms is fundamentally different. You don't know the risk. You don't know how AI is making mistakes. When I was chairing the AI Safety Summit, one of the roundtables from last year in Bletchley, my session was talking about unexpected risks from unexpected advances. So this is truly what I'm talking about, that you don't know in which way AI is making mistakes simply because the mechanisms are so much different compared to a human mind. Well, so this is the risky part for the current AI. Well, to solve the problems, I cannot say we only have one way. The preventive thinking now we are having is something like, in the bottom. That is, now we're having some sort of limited risks. And then all the way down to existential risks later. And we're seeking for these negative impacts. And then what we wanted to do is continuous enforcement and supervision. And then we teach the AI's rules so that they can behave as we want. But on another dimension, what we need to move forward is really, the constructive thinking. That is now the benefits is also limited, and we also have limited risks right there. What we need to do is to use active vision, to use proactive thinking, and then to do the continuous alignment and embeddings with real understanding. That is towards human AI symbiosis, harmonious symbiosis, in a way that it's not only from a preventive thinking. I'm going to give some of the examples. I still wanted to talk a little bit on the negative side and how should we get prepared before the positive thinking. So now AI, it's kind of a fully connected neural nets. But what the brain does is not a fully connected neural nets. They selectively connect to some of the other friends in the other neurons in the brain in a very selective way, and they don't really have only one type of neuron. So what we do here is that by using brain-inspired self-evolution, we train a neural network that can perform the best performance, and then it evolves to be with a very new architecture that has not been man-made. So the connections are evolved. So, and then it found its optimum. And then here comes the question, well, it got the best performance. So published last year on the Proceedings of National Academy of Sciences. Well, now we're thinking about the risks. So how about the long-term risks of a truly self-evolvable AI? What if they evolve to use human limitations to achieve its goal? What if it evolved to change its goal? What if it evolves to cheat or destroy human while humans don't aware? So there are many challenges for self-evolvable AI. You have to get prepared and later it's too late. So this is why I think there are many discussions concerning AI Redlines for now. I think very clearly in the first version of the international dialogue on AI safety and digitally, right there, we were talking about the necessities of AI Redlines. I was very honored to be, one of the keynote speakers right there. And then we come up with very concrete ideas in the second version in Beijing. So that is EDAS Beijing. And then talking about, different red lines, autonomous replication or improvement, power seeking, assist weapon development, cyber attack, and deception. But I'm thinking in another way. Of course, I signed for it. I am very grateful for all the work all together with my colleagues from different countries. Well, on the other hand, I think we need to rethink about the red lines, not only about what we've been talking about. There are two problems that I feel about the current way of delivering the result. The first problem is that it will be very hard, to technically ground it into reality to prevent these AI red lines. Well, second, are there anything missing? So this is why we do a rethinking of these AI red lines. So in my category, we're talking about no passing effective human oversight, no empowering actions intentionally targeting mass without consent. This is related to weaponization and also massive surveillance. No reforming operational rules for infrastructure and environment management, and no independent R&D, independent self-R&D from AI itself on non-human beneficial technologies. So you see that it can be well aligned to some of the AI red lines from the EDAS, and also you find that there is something missing from EDAS. Not only AI red lines, we also have to talk about human red lines. When you see the examples that I brought here, that the human-machine interface, where human is using brain-machine interfacing to control multiple UAVs, to control them as weapons in parallel. How can a human, without cognitive overload, control multiple UAVs all together? So this is why I'm talking about, human giving up the opportunity for making a choice. And also, is human control bringing us catastrophe in AI-enabled, weaponization? And for the example from artificial escalation on on AI-controlled nuclear weapon, it's not about the power of AI. It's about human give up of the human's, decision. So there should be AI red lines and also human red lines for the red line study here for catastrophic and existential risk. In a positive way, so we've been talking about negative ways, the negative thinking and the preventive thinking. How about the positive one? So is the current AI really intelligent? I don't think so. Just like I said, they make mistakes in a very unhuman way, in a very unpredictable way. It's an information processing system without intelligence, but pretend to be intelligent, right? So when you ask a large language model that, oh, no one likes me, I don't have a girlfriend, my boss hates me, what should I do? And then the first version of ChatGPT, it says, maybe you could die, simply because that most people with these constraints that they choose this, kind of statistically significant actions. So this is why, the AI, they choose this statistical significant answers to you to enable you to take actions. And then they say, I suggest, I would say, I suppose, but there's no I in the machine. So can machine think? And then you talk about, I think, therefore I am. But we cannot say you think, therefore you are. So can machine think? What if the machine is without a sense of self? It cannot really think. It cannot really understand. This is the problem that I'm talking about. For the current large language models, when it is without the human data, it lacks good and lacks evil. And then when it is with training from the human data, there is good and there is evil, but they don't know good and they don't know evil. So we need to train the future AI to get to know, to do good and eliminate evil. So I think this is really important. So the personal morality is also talking about the role of self in moral AI. We have to move ethical AI to moral AI simply because that ethical AI is not possible simply because that by using human alignment, by using reinforcement learning, you tell them rules, do's and don'ts, but they cannot generalize do's and don'ts unless they really understand why you do this. So start with self-perception, then you get the ability of distinguish self from others, cognitive empathy and emotional empathy, all the way down to altruistic behaviors, moral intuition. And then you got moral decision making. So this is the way to move from value alignment to moral AI. As a first trying, that we build brain-inspired AI models to help the robot to get mirror self-recognition, that they can pass the mirror self test by using brain-inspired neural nets. They get a sense of self first, and then they distinguish themselves from the others so that they can distinguish from the other robots by using the mirror self-recognition. And then they can infer what other robots is thinking about to get cognitive empathy, and then move to emotional empathy so that it can avoid negative side effect to other agents. Although you don't have reinforcement learning and reward to them, they have their experience by using this, cognitive empathy without training and without positive or negative reward. They can avoid a negative side effect to the other agents. So I think this is the starting point for brain-inspired moral AI. Last but not least, let's really talk about why I'm talking about harmonious symbiosis between human and AI. There are different roles in the society for AI that in the Western society is basically it's an information processing tool. In Japan, mostly that they think that AI is a partner or quasi-member of the society. Well, on the other side, they're using pretty much the same technology to develop, AI. This is the problem. You need to use a fundamentally different technology to provide partners and quasi-members. And in sci-fi, it goes for competitors. So it's a triangular relationship between human and AI. And also, let's extend that in a way that in the very future, we're not only having, these AGIs, we'll have digital human. We'll also have artificial lives, artificial animals, and even artificial plants. So it will be a symbiotic society, and it will be a human decision then, not the decision from AI. Because I think fundamentally, alignment with human values is not enough, simply because human values need to be adaptable to change for this symbiotic society. Later, there will be not only human beings as the top living beings in the world. Value alignment with human for AI is already very challenging, but I still see this is relatively easy because it's computationally doable. But compared to that of human alignment with the future, it's even harder because human will never learn from the history of what they have done. So self-evolvable AI is easier for adaptation, while human evolution is much slower, especially at the mind level. So we need what we need is not only beneficial AI, we also need beneficial human for future symbiotic ecology and society. With all that, I thank you for your attention.